This is my teddy. When I was younger, he was my favourite thing. He's nearly as old as I am. He's a bit bald here between the ears. His eyes have faded a little bit. I think that makes him a bit like me. I'm old enough to remember in 1965 when Julie Andrews sang a song that went like this. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favourite things, and then I don't feel so sad. Well, she sang about favourite things. She sang about dogs biting and bees stinging. There are some dogs biting right now and bees stinging right now. The dog of social distancing and isolation is biting. The bee of fear of job loss, of jobs lost perhaps for friends, of lives disrupted, of lives lost perhaps as well of people we know. The dogs are biting and the bees are stinging, and I'm not sure whether a favourite thing like Teddy makes a big difference in those circumstances. But I want to tell you today my favourite Bible verse. It's in John 16:33. You can look it up, but here's what it says. Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he says this, "In this world you will have troubles, but take heart, for I have overcome the world." In this world you will have troubles, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. Now I want to tell you about the context a little bit. This is the last night of Jesus' life with his disciples before he's crucified. And you know those last minute instructions that people give when people are flying off on a trip, you're a young person going away, your parents tell you, don't forget this, don't forget that. It's a bit like that. So what does Jesus say? Well, in chapter 13, he says some stuff which seems really discouraging because he talks about being betrayed by one of his friends. He talks about being denied by one of his friends. They're not much different really. And he says to his friends, where I'm going, you can't come. That's pretty discouraging on the surface. But then in chapter 14 he says again, I'm leaving, but I'm going to leave something with you. And what I'm going to leave with you is peace. And peace that's beyond any peace you've ever experienced before. Then in John chapter 15, he tells them that people will hate them. Hardly the sort of encouraging thing you'd like to hear, but he tells them people will hate you, but that's okay because they hated me first. And then in John chapter 16 he says, I'm telling you these things so you don't go astray after I'm gone. And then he gets to chapter 16, verse 33, and he says, take heart, I have overcome the world. Now I don't know about you, but I reckon that's more encouraging than just having Teddy or a favourite thing with me when the dogs that are biting at the moment and the bees that are stinging at the moment are doing what they're doing. So that's my favourite Bible verse. I wonder what yours is. If you've got one, take time today to share it with somebody. Ask them what theirs is. Let's mutually encourage one another, particularly in this time when there are some difficult things happening. Let's encourage one another, not just with the idea of a favourite thing, but of part of the Bible that reminds us of how good and powerful God is.